Hi there, welcome to Within Love, an online TV show where we're going to talk to people about the relationships, the ups, the downs and everything in between. My name is John Goodmanson and I'll be talking to my guests today about their lovely relationships and what can go better, or if indeed anything can go better. If we can start by introducing you, we can start with you. What's your name?
My name is Bertha.
And I'm Duncan.
And if you could tell me a bit more about yourselves, let's start with Duncan. What do you do? What sort of work are you doing?
I work for London Underground. I work with trains, I work with the signalling system, I work with a team of guys that helps to fix and hopefully prevent the signal failures, which is not always easy. But I work shift work, which includes earlys, lates and nights, which is not, it's quite difficult to juggle shift work in a relationship with 4 kids as well, so it's not that easy. But I've got used to it now. I've been there for nearly 12 years, so I'm happy. I enjoy it. I enjoy fixing things, so there you go.
Brilliant. And yourself, are you working or what are you doing?
Well, at the moment, I'm a full-time housewife, even though I do go to school just 1 day a week, because I'm thinking of going back to work. So basically I'm at home looking after my kids. As you said, it's really hard, but it's interesting at the same time, so it's almost as though you don't know where to place yourself, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. So you're married?
Yes.
And how long have you been married?
Well, this year is going to be 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And how long were you together before you got married?
About 2.5 years. Yeah.
And tell us a bit about the proposal. What happened there? How did you do it?
That's an interesting one. Do you want to say
I
it?
let you say it. you will include all the details.
I'll give us all the details.
I proposed. I'm reaching a better time.
Yeah, basically, he proposed to me on Valentine's Day. The year, I'm not very sure what year, but year. And it was wet on the floor, so he was wearing white trousers and he knelt down, looked at me. I didn't have a clue at all that he was going to propose, but then he did. I was so overwhelmed, cried and cried. Before I said yes, he was pushing the finger, the ring into my finger. And I was like,
I'm a mind reader.
and I said, I haven't said yes yet. He goes, what is it? Yes. And so I was crying and everything. I called my mom and told her, yeah. So that's how it went. But it was really nice.
So it's a bit of romantic. So
yeah.
12 years later, you have 4 children.
That's right.
4 children. Tell us a bit about that. Tell us a bit about your children.
Well, yeah, we have 4 children. We have 2 girls, 2 boys. We had kids early, so by the time we had our first anniversary, we had our first child the same day, which is quite quick after getting married. I guess it works. The good thing about that is obviously you get to enjoy your kids, and
That's right.
they grow up, and you're still kind of young. You're not too old.
It's a lot of commitment for young people to have a child at the first year.
Yes.
That's right, yeah.
So did you find that being difficult at all?
Oh yes, that was hard. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that. Obviously you've been married for 1 year, first child. How did that go?
Well, basically, from the time we got married, about 3 months later I got pregnant, and a year, as you said, exactly, the first child was born. We felt maybe we would have just waited a little bit in terms of just for us to maybe spend more time together, because once the child came in, it was a lot more focused on bringing up the child, isn't it?
Yeah,
more than
yeah.
our relationship. So we felt that almost as though took a bit of that attention from each other, which we could have had if we didn't, like a shock sort of thing.
Did it become difficult? Were there any communication problems, or sort of how did your relationship change after that?
I think it changed in terms of we couldn't go out as much as we wanted to go out.
Basically, you didn't have enough time for each other. There was a child, and obviously you had to focus on that.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's very straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the second child, when does that come in the picture? When?
That was like 2 years after.
Less than 2 years.
Less than 2 years.
So it was very, very, very close in between.
Yeah.
Nearly 2 years after.
And again, did that affect your relationship in any way? Obviously, newborn child, it takes a lot of time from you, and now a second child. Tell me a bit more about that.
Well, I think people usually ask, you've had one child, does the second child make a difference? Or not? It does make, I think that's the biggest difference, going from 1 to 2. Because when you have one child, this is your first child. Wow, like she said, you kind of, you don't focus on each other anymore. It's all about this wonderful person that you both brought into the world. And then the second child comes, and you have to deal with, first child feeling a little less attended to, because now there's a new baby in the house, and there's that tension, then it's obviously, because we're close together, the first child is not yet 2, and the second one comes, and we're having to deal with it. So it was quite difficult.
And again, did that affect your relationship in any way? Did it make you more connected, or did it make you grow apart? How, sort of, in a way, did it affect you in that way as well?
Probably a bit of both, to be honest, because you don't have the time together, you kind of get used to not doing things together. You get used to life being around the child, and everybody that comes to visit you is coming to see the child or the children, and then even going out becomes difficult because you have to find a babysitter. So in one way it made it, it made us sort of drift apart like that. In another way, we just had to get on with life, so you kind of, the responsibility of children makes you just get on and do what you have to do. I think that kind of brings a certain maturity into the relationship. So.
Now, obviously you have 4 children. How this last 2?
After 2, it doesn't matter how many you have.
It's really the same story.
It's really very similar. Yeah.
And is there a lot of time in between, or
No.
a lot later too? Or?
With the last one, there was maybe 4 years, but with between the second one and the third,
again, it was less than 2 years.
Yeah, almost the same time with the first and the second. Yeah.
But in general now, how is your relationship? How is your communication? How good of friends are you?
Well, 12 years is a long time. You get to know, I've got to know her mannerisms, her behaviours, how she responds to things. I suppose you even get to know yourself. I've got to know myself personally. I always say this to people that are not married. If you don't know yourself when you get married, you will know yourself very quickly, and you'll get to understand who you are. And also understand. I've got to understand Bertha and what makes her happy, what doesn't make her happy.
Do you argue?
No. I don't argue.
Oh, she argues.
That's never ever happened in our relationship, ever.
Right, never
Not
had an
a single
argument.
argument.
So tell me a bit more. How